कुछ हो नहीं पाता जिंदगी में, so that is something we all truly believe. So we will be doing the inaugural lamp lighting and the Ganesh mantra right now. To do the honors, I would like to call upon stage some wonderful people. I'll request Abhishek Sharma, Executive Director, Commercial Leasing and Advisory, Anarok Property Consultants Private Limited, Dr. Mala Singh, Chairperson, IGBC Mumbai Chapter, Navinder Narang, Head Infrastructure Facilities and ESG, ICICI Home Finance, Nitin Gupta, Head Technical RMX, Nuvoco Vistas Corp Limited, Senthil Raj Balachandran, Senior VP, Head of MP and Sustainability, K. Raheja Corp, Tripti Agarwal, Senior Vice President, Commercial Transactions and Growth Strategy, Century Real Estate Holdings Private Limited. Can we have the lamp over here on stage? And a big, big, big round of applause for all our guests over here who are doing the honors for all of us. Thank you so much. बहुत सारा शुक्रिया यहाँ पे आने के लिए हमारे साथ. Can we please have the lamp quickly on stage to get going with the lamp lighting and the Ganesh mantra for all of us? We have the lamp ready, and of course, this is a Realty Plus event, so of course, no brownie points for guessing. I also have to call Tripti Keria and Sapna Srivastav on stage as well. A big round of applause for this fascinating duo of Realty Plus, ladies and gentlemen. The incredible force, the women power behind all the good work that Realty Plus does. And that is exactly what we all truly believe, right? Nari Shakti. On that note, can we please play the Ganesh mantra for all of us over here?
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ.
Thank you so much. Can I request all of you to give a big round of applause for all these wonderful people over here? And if I may ask, please repeat after me. Ganpati Bappa! Ganpati Bappa! Ganpati Bappa! Super stuff. Thank you so much. I'll request all of you to please kindly take your seats, and a big, big, big warm gratitude from my end for doing this for all of us over here on stage. Thank you so much. I'll request all of you to take your seats. Thank you so much. Talking about thank you and talking about gratitude, no event or no initiative, ladies and gentlemen, is genuinely possible without the support of the partners. So it's absolutely a prerogative at my end to thank all our partners from my end for ensuring that this event is going to be a grand success. I would like to take out a moment to thank our partners for the day, ladies and gentlemen. Our partners for the day, co-partners, Signature Global India Limited and Nemetschek Group. Industry partners, Indian Green Building Council, Association of Engineers, Surveyors and Architects, business media partner, BW Business World Media Group, online media partner, exchangeformedia.com, and of course, organized by the brilliant team of Realty Plus. You know, initiatives matter, and I know you all have clapped for Realty Plus, but then I'll request all of you to, and we'll do it in a nice way. We'll do it in a Mexican wave style. We all do that in cricket stadiums, right, sir? We all enjoy IPL cricket games, etc. So what we'll do is we'll start the Mexican wave from here of clapping for Realty Plus, and then we go like this, and then we go like this in a zigzag fashion. So on a countdown of 1, 2, 3 for Realty Plus, everybody. Realty Plus, Realty Plus. I love the engagement, I love the support all of you have for Realty Plus, because the initiative is what matters the most. So thank you so much. So what we are going to be doing right now is we are going to be moving to the first panel discussion of the day. And I request the chairs to be kindly set up on stage so that we can get going with the panel discussion. We will be needing, I believe, 6 chairs on stage, please. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing the introduction for all of you for the panel. This is going to be on the topic of future-ready offices are green buildings now a tenant expectation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the topic for the first panel discussion of the day over here. The topic is future-ready offices are green buildings now a tenant expectation. Quite a pertinent topic in today's time, especially when we talk about green, we talk about sustainability. That's the need of the hour, and that's exactly what we're talking over here, Harit, Bharat. So I'm sure we have some wonderful people over here to share the knowledge, insights, and wisdom. All some wonderful speakers over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be explaining to you all the format. I'm going to be first announcing our moderator, introducing our moderator, although none of you really need introductions. You all are stalwarts in your field, but I'll be first introducing our moderator. Then I'll request the moderator to please join me on stage. And then I'll request the speakers one by one as I introduce them to come on stage one by one after their introductions are done. Okay, so that's going to be the mantra and the format that we are going to be following throughout. Ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, we have somebody truly, truly special with deep expertise in rates, flexible workspaces, and commercial real estate. He brings a sharp strategic mindset and a client-first approach to every engagement. He plays a pivotal role in delivering end-to-end advisory and executing commercial transactions for occupiers. At Anarock, he is instrumental in innovation and growth within the corporate leasing vertical, helping clients navigate an evolving landscape with clarity, confidence, and measurable impact. Ladies and gentlemen, our moderator for the session, please give a big round of applause for Abhishek Sharma, Executive Director, Commercial Leasing and Advisory, Anarock Property Consultants Private Limited. Thank you so much, Abhishek ji, for being with us over here. Such a pleasure to have you. I'll request you to take your seat over here. All right, I'll now quickly move on to our speakers. Speakers are in alphabetical order, as I call them. With more than 15 years of experience, she's the founder and director of PEC Greening India. She has various green buildings and sustainability accreditations, including IGBC Fellow, GRIHA CP, GRI Assessor for Sustainability Reporting, and Lead Green Associate. She is on board with various prestigious organizations as sustainability advisor. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for Dr. Mala Singh, Chairperson IGBC Mumbai Chapter. Bigger round of applause for Dr. Mala, please, everybody. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us. Please request you to take your seat. We also have with us today a dynamic professional with over 14 years senior managerial experience in ICICI Group, CRE management, sustainability, including facilities and services, and over 21 years with the Indian Army. Heading the sustainability efforts of ICICI HFC, he formulated the ESG strategy and policy in major areas like procurement, projects, and processes. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise, everybody, for Navinder Narang, Head Infrastructure, Facilities, and ESG, ICICI Home Finance Company Limited. Sir, pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, has over 23 years experience in the building material industry. He's also an accredited professional from IGBC. He leads the development of many innovative, disruptive innovations in building materials like anti-microbial putty, wet micro concrete, wet concrete in bags, structural lightweight concrete, EcoDure green concrete and thermal insulated concrete. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Nitin Gupta, Head Technical RMX at Nuvoco Vistas Corp. Nitin sir, thank you so much for joining us. Such a pleasure to have you. I'll request you to take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a distinguished engineering and sustainability leader with over 30 plus years of experience across India and also the Middle East. He has led end-to-end delivery of large-scale real estate and infrastructure projects, and he's of course an expert in MEPS systems and green building integration, where he drives next-gen energy-efficient green certified projects. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Senthil Raj Balachandran, Senior VP, Head of MEP and Sustainability, K. Raheja Corp. Thank you, sir. Pleasure to have you. I'll request you to take your seat as well. We also have with us today an accomplished real estate professional, ladies and gentlemen, with over 15 years of experience across residential and commercial real estate segments in Mumbai and Bengaluru. Previously, she has been associated with reputed developers, including the Lodha Group and Godrej Properties as well. Please welcome on stage Tripti Agarwal, Senior Vice President, Commercial Transactions and Growth Strategy, Century Real Estate. Thank you so much, Tripti ji. Welcome, pleasure. I'll request you to take your seat. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Can't get bigger and better than this. The first panel of Harit Bharat. A big round of applause for all of them as I request our speakers to take their seats. I've made you all stand long enough. So thank you so much. We'll quickly update the timer. Yes, we do have. So that's the timer in reference for you. And over to you, sir. Good to go.
It is. First one to be on the dais, and I'll make sure that we are keeping every one of you engaged. Okay, the topic for us today, it's not just about sustainability related to engineering or architecture. What we are getting into a deep and trying to figure it out that what exactly sustainability means for the clients, for the occupiers, for the tenants. Does it really mean any value to it or not? That's what we are trying to figure it out. I remember when I started my real estate career, that time sustainability was not something which was discussed in forum. Then we moved into an era where sustainability became a kind of differentiator, that some of the buildings are sustainable, some of them are not. But now it has become a kind of must-have. Sustainable buildings which doesn't have certification probably are not being appreciated by the occupiers. We'll discuss this more, but yes, that's the kind of general sentiment. But yes, we still need to try to figure it out that how much value does it add? Or it is still a buzzword, or it is a tick in the annual report, or it really means value. To discuss this, we have this eminent panel on the board. And to start off the discussion, probably Dr. Mala with you, when we talk about demand movers, that yes, demand is moving towards sustainable buildings. Do we have the data to support this fact, or this is still a fad for us? How much data is supporting this?
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. As you rightly said that sustainability is not a differentiator, it's a default actually. So it is must, you rightly said. And if you see because I represent IGBCCII, if you see the growth momentum in the country of green building, in 2001, there was just one building in the country. And today in IGBC, we have 14 billion square feet construction footprint, which are transforming green certifications processes, and they are registered and they are certifying.
What would be the India number?
14 billion, I am saying, square feet. So this is huge. That doesn't include commercial only, but it has residential, it has healthcare, hospitality, then your infrastructure projects like warehouse, logistics industry, and I would say each and every part of the sectors. So it's so inclusive ecosystem that all the rating systems are 32 rating systems we have. So they are acting as a guiding tool, for all the stakeholders for their transformation process. So as you ask about the demand, I would say this is a positive note I'm trying to put here, that there's a huge demand now. especially in the commercial sector, if we talk about, I think your NROC report, I was going through your research report, well, it's a very recent report, in fact, from your institution itself. So 65%, I think, growth, we can see that, your tenants are demanding for the green certification. I think reason behind that is their policies, which are more green, more sustainability definition. They are coming up with their objectives, goals, aspirations of becoming net zero. So that is also, giving a push towards adoption of these green guidelines in their, let us say it's a small space or it is a complete building. It doesn't matter, irrespective of any size. And also the global demand, the global investors who are coming to India and they are investing here. So they are also demanding, like multinational companies, they also want sustainable spaces and green spaces, because they have understood that health and well-being is a very, very good, a very important component. So it is not something just building looks green certified, but when you are inside the building, so how comfortable you feel, from thermal comfort point of view, from indoor air quality is very important. So there are a lot of, I think, aspects we can define in the green building. So that is surging the demand because people wants to have a good health, especially after the COVID, everyone has realized that we need building green, not from the design perspective, but in the operational way also, and how we can give more push towards the eco-conscious and the eco-friendly materials, interior works. So that is taking a big demand.
It's encouraging to see that now we are moving into different segments of real estate also when it comes to green buildings.
Exactly.
Yeah, good say. You want to
Just
add
to
something?
add a few data points, 68% of the global brands, companies, they have pledged to, reinforce the green, are already occupying the green offices. Yes. That is one data point. Second is the green premium. People are willing to pay almost 10% green premium on the rentals. This is the discovery that over the last year people are having. And the brown discounting. Does everybody understand what's brown discounting? The brown discounting is when you have an office which is not coming up to norms, you are forced to give it at a lower rentals. Or they are more vacant, their vacancy numbers are higher. So this trend has started now in India. The vacancy trends are starting with the frequency of 5% every year add-on. This is the kind of trend which is on. So this clearly shows that the bias is now coming towards.
Good to see that now it's no more about the green premium. We are talking about the green discounting. That
brown
shows
discounting.
Brown discounting. Now that shows that we are moving towards a maturity phase, I would
Absolutely.
say. Yeah, good to see. Tripti, actually, you coming from the developer perspective, from your point of view, when you receive the client briefs, do you think so that sustainability aspect is a cherry on the cake or it has become the cake itself?
No, I think there is definitely a shift towards green buildings, moving from being a nice to have to now being one of the must-haves. It's a deal breaker in many cases. And just adding one or two quick data points, we see that ANAROC's report, again, coming back to ANAROC's recent report, in H1 2025, about over 70% of office leasing that has happened has been of green certified assets. And we've also heard about the kind of supply that there exists today, green supply. Commercial alone would be over about 500 million square feet across the country. The largest demand drivers for green buildings are, GCCs or a lot of ITES companies. So MNCs, even service providers to global companies are taking these decisions because it is one, compliance related, it meets their long-term commitments, net zero commitments, and it is also a matter of reputation. So the decision is linked to reputation as well. And in India, as we know, because of the BRSR framework by SEBI, the top 1,000 Indian companies that are listed are expected to, share their ESG information. And because of that, also we see a lot of large Indian corporates ramping up their sustainability mandates and bringing it into their decision making. So in our RFPs, we do notice that ESG wellness is definitely a criteria. A lot of inputs are requested in terms of, sustainability initiatives, integration of renewable energy, wellness, energy efficiency, etc. And one can say, at least what we are seeing is over 75% leasing requirements that are coming to us are focusing on green features.
So what do you think that, when the demand is moving towards the green building, from where this push is coming? Is it the occupier? Is it the regulator? Is from where this push is coming? You mentioned about SEBI norms and all. So where the push is coming in?
I think it is a very interrelated ecosystem. So on one hand, we have regulators, then we have investors. Investors are also investing in assets that meet the sustainability mandates that their LPs have. And then we have occupiers, they have their global mandates, commitments. It's a cohesive ecosystem that is bringing this push together.
If I can add, it's both a push and a pull. It's something like when a new product comes in the market. I remember those days in my younger days when the color TV came in. So initially, it's a drive by the system to push it down slightly and see the response. And when the people own it, people start liking it, people start enjoying the experience, people start seeing more meaning to it, then the pull starts. So while last few years were the push phase, now you will see the pull phase. It's the tenants which will lead the demand. It is the occupiers which will demand the kind of transparency into the savings, into the green kind of ecosystem being created, and that will itself authenticate a lot of inputs you need for your reporting.
So, Mr. Narang, just from the occupier perspective, actually, would you consider, or the occupiers, are we moving into a phase where you or your fellow colleagues are ready to give a no or pass on to a building if it is not a green certified?
Yes, in fact, it has happened. Higher occupancy rate coming in, and that building could not suffice for the kind of occupation required. So we had a choice. When we started seeing the alternatives available to us, we had few alternatives right bang opposite our corporate office, which was so attractive. Anybody in the earlier frame of thought would have thought कि यार ये बाजू में office है, चलते हैं, it will become so synced with our own operations.
Location.
But then we went for a green office which was 2 kilometers away or 3 kilometers away. So we made that choice. I think that choice is going to come. People are going to invest in that kind of a thought, because that is going to lead not only to your own brand enhancement, because every brand would like to be known for its putting the money where the thing is.
That's very interesting thought. In fact, I will lead this to Mr. Senthil. So, you also represent a large developer in the country. And in terms of the demand, what you receive, this requirement for sustainability, green buildings, that is more from the global MNCs, or you see Indian corporates also do walk the talk?
Yeah, good morning. This requirement, which is actually we regularly get it from different agencies or local players, it is not like discriminating, it is only MNC, it is more on corporates. In Indian culture, corporates are well matured and they are demanding for it. And by MNCs, even though actually the MNC, they are supposed to represent Indian ecosystem. So by default, that is actually there in place since from the beginning.
But in terms of requirement, do you see a change that, okay, global demands more?
No. Indian demands are more.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
Actually, global demands always lies, but that is not a major stakeholder. But Indian demands are more, and now they are making a note that this is actually one of the tick mark for choosing, like how we choose it.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting to know. What I feel that sustainability is something like yoga. Everyone feels that this is important. This has to be done. I know it, but out of the work group, I seriously don't know how much we know that how to stretch, how yoga means how much to stretch and all. That's how I feel that in terms of the learning curve, we are in terms of sustainability. So Mala, actually coming back to you on this. So when we say that market is maturing, people are learning, but do occupiers understand realize the value of this? When I say, are they able to differentiate what sustainability standards are. For example, how LEED could be different from IGBC or Wired Score or Well Score. What I've seen that most of the developers just go ahead and say that I need to have certifications. But for the occupiers or for the market, do they understand the difference?
Yeah, Abhishek, I think let us just understand first. There are two kind of, one is a supply, green building supply in the market from the real estate players. When they give a core and shell structure, either there is a single tenant who will operate the entire building, or either they will be multi-tenants. So I think that's, you are working on the sustainability aspect at the infrastructure level. So it's entire building, associated infra, environmental infra into that. So that's little easy, when you have green certification, then you occupy that space as a tenant or you are taking it on lease. So it becomes little easy for you because your roots, your basic green foundations are there because entire structure is already green certified.
But when I say green, do people understand this is light green or
Yeah.
this is dark green?
So I'm saying it is, one is the single owner occupied tenant is there. They must have their ESG mandates or policies. So they are trying to look into their policy integration in such a way through stakeholder engagement, where they are talking green, they are doing capacity building program and awareness like that to sensitize and involve all the stakeholders at the organization level. But when it comes to the multi-tenants, I think in those buildings still there are challenges. Because there is a one single facility management company and who's looking into all green aspects of the building, but how to communicate, and then everybody does, at their individual level. So like suppose there are multiple tenants in a building. So every tenant, they do their own sustainability practices within their scope of boundaries. So then they define their boundaries within their area, within their space. So how much fresh air they are getting, how much, water they are reducing, how much energy consumption they are doing. Then this measurement and monitoring aspects comes into the picture. But definitely awareness, sensitization, that also depends upon the leadership, who's taking care of the entire governance. Yeah. But I think regulator also plays a very important. I think this surge, Hijab people like ICI Bank, they have their own, I think, establishment of their strong policies in place, ESG or taking green certification. But there is also push from the government through incentives also. Because there are a lot of policies which are already on the paper where builders get benefits and incentives. So that also gives the push, to construct more green buildings, green offices. So that is the one very important aspect. So,
do you see the demand coming in from the government sector? Government, yes, they do promote the private to construct more, but the infrastructure, supporting infrastructure to the private colonies or the private buildings has to be built by government. Do you think so? That is also becoming green?
Yeah, Abhishek, let me tell you the best part is if you see the current environmental regulations, when you have area above 20,000 square meter, I mean 2 lakh square feet, so you have a EIA clearance, So most of the infrastructure, environmental infrastructure requirements are already there. Without that, you will not get the OC of that building. So that is a good point, when you see at a macro level, entire your building, because you have STP, you have, waste management, solar energy, as per the MOEF requirements and government regulations, I'm saying. But once it comes to the space is, your own premises, then it is your own, I would say, intent of the organization, how they look into all these, I would say, sensitizing their tenants, and they are also looking into the behavior approach. So that aspect also plays a very important role. And I have seen that in some of the small green spaces where they were going for the transformation process of taking green certification, HR department also plays a very important role here. So it is not always the engineers and architects, because they also look into the behavior approach of the tenants. So they also demand for the green, they want to really contribute for that. Because everyone, and there are some, award recognitions, or there are some green heroes, green warriors. So they have such program engagements.
Incentivization.
So that keep on, pushing them to do something which is very relevant to sustainability, I think so. Then they do it.
Got it.
I think this is always, how you take this intent, where is your boundary, and what you can do individually, or how the leadership is there. So there is a very big synergy between that.
Sure. So you're looking to add something to this?
Yes. See, few years back, tenants and occupiers and companies used to be feeling very good if there was a mere mention of a certification, you felt good, acha, I'm in a LEED certified building. So those things are changing now. The tenants, the facility managers, the occupiers, the staff, everybody is becoming more mature. So when the occupiers are there in the building, they would interact with the various stakeholders like admin staff and all. And these things are spreading now. Okay, this building is giving us, energy saving and our bills have reduced. So that leads to more and more questions. So that is leading to rich awareness in that.
Sure.
matter.
The more the stakeholders are getting involved into the system.
And regarding your question on government related thing, I think one of the green certifications, if I'm not wrong, it's Griha or something. Griha. Griha is the only one which is giving post-occupation metrics as one of the criteria. So this now needs to come in a bit more. I think all the government plans and government buildings, they are mandatory to be done by Griha. So that is one important aspect. And plus the facilities to the developers in terms of sustainability linked loans and various foreign investors who are giving green loans.
Correct.
That is something which is also pushing this whole thing.
That's a very interesting thought, actually.
I think I need to counter one thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
please.
So if you see the green certification program in India, even in LEED, IGBC, I will not say point out one particular rating, but there is always a post-occupancy evaluation. There are always criteria like that. Even if you see the government tender specifications, etc. So equally, if you see the DCR of every state, all rating systems are defined equally there.
Okay,
So it
maybe
is
I
not
was
just
speaking
one
from my
mandate.
experience of
Yeah.
few years ago. Maybe over the
So-
years things have improved.
No, I think there is a 300-page document for Government of Maharashtra, which clearly define that, all the benefits and all the mandates of green certification.
Learning for all of us.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Gupta, you are the one who is leading the change, actually, when it comes to, innovating with new products and all. So, while you are coming up with new products, how do you balance sustainability with the structural performance, knowing the fact that, okay, occupiers get it?
Okay, so see, globally, now the old thinking was, I'm just talking about, let's say, start from the concrete, which is almost the 70 to 80% of any building construction requirement out of the other building materials. Earlier, the thought process was that it is only the strength. Everybody is looking for the strength, old thought of the strength. Now, this has now changed from strength to performance and the sustainability. How my concrete is going to be performance, high performance concrete, sustainable concrete. These kind of things are now evolving from last almost 10 years, I see, in the market. Now, in fact, authorities are also now saying the Indian standards, so 16700, the new code has come. They are also asking about the RCPT values. So RCPT values are the lower, so better is the performance of that particular concrete is there in terms of the chloride consumptions. So this is where the shift is now going to be there, and I'm happy that now everybody is aware about it. The big construction companies like Rahejas, Godrej, all these are now asking. They are drafting their these specifications that is going to be the more sustainable and more performance. Along with the strength is anyway it's the part of that there. So this is how this globally changes there. All companies are supporting them. In fact, my company has also come up with the various kind of green products and the high performance concrete and high performance product to support these things there.
You're holding a tough job. You're holding a tough job.
Yes, it's a tough and it's a very exciting one because, as I said that the concrete is the 70 to 80%.
Correct.
So when we are going for the certifications, Dr. Mala is here. So, so concrete makes a special point here. And it's a tough job because people are always thinking, earlier the consultants were writing their specifications and that only OPC. OPC is the pure cement there. And we know that the cement itself is a very one of the most polluting after steel in this industry. And almost 1 ton of cement is producing 1 ton of cement is approximately almost 900 to 1 ton of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which are various. One is that the chemical of this, the limestone, which is CaCO3. So when we burn, carbon dioxide directly go into the atmosphere. Plus some other, when we are operating the cranes and all these, lots of energies we are using there. So earlier, the consultants was asking, we want 100% OPC. The thought process, OPC is a good product there. Now, the blended cement trend from last 15 to 20 years has come in the market. The government also supported them. But people are now, still, sometimes people are looking for that, but it is changing there. So GGBS, fly ash, these kinds of, the SCMs are required substantially. Cementitious materials are now being using, and high volume fly ash is also being using. So this is how things are moving, and where the sustainability and the durability are taking care.
Interesting.
I would love to add here. So nowadays, it has become the ecosystem where you have green certified products, which is very much available in the market, because it's a demand from the manufacturers also to become net zero, to become green certified. All the rating systems, they have green certified products. Particular to IGBC, we have more than 13,000 products which are green certified. So I need not to check whether how much recycled content or something like that. If a product supplier says, okay, I'm a green certified product, because we know that he has EPD value, he knows the life cycle assessment of his product, from cradle to cradle, he has applied all those specifications. So that gives me that justification.
In fact, from there I have an interesting thought. Probably you are the best person to add to value to it. But I feel that sustainability as a word, it is something like an Instagram filter. It always makes us look good, right? So having a sustainable certificate, green certificate, that is something being used by developers also, and by market just as a marketing tool, right? How to safeguard the market or the occupiers against this greenwashing?
Sure. I know this question is going to come to me. So let me tell you, builders have a benefit when they take the pre-certification, which is a design certification, okay, in the planning and design stage itself. So they start marketing whether they are platinum, gold, or like that. But if builders, switch off that and they don't do the final certification, then entire intent is lost, right? So in that case, now regulators have also extra FSI provision, incentives are there, penalties are there. So if you are defining that you are pre-certified and you are putting a big hoarding that I'm platinum, silver, gold, like that, but if you are not able to give that certificate to municipal authority before occupancy certificate you apply for, agencies are asking first, you provide us a final certificate. That thing is happening.
Yes.
So that means you have to ensure that all the green guards, all the green standards you have applied, and it's impactful and it is quantifiable and it has been evaluated. Quantitative and all qualitative analysis has been done. And there is a third party audit, there is a site visit. So all these checks have been done. So I think that thing is now in the market, creating a positive impact, that it is not a checklist compliance, but it is more based on the impact.
Right.
It's more on the impact.
Mr. Gupta, you were supposed to add something?
So I agree with her. It is more on the impact, and sometimes these builders and sometimes they are using this as a marketing tool, and I feel it is not bad to using it as a marketing tool to sell their project there. But they have to add values in the later stage also, and which that now the more stringent IGBC's laws are coming there, and these things are there, so which are making the check out.
Yeah, there is a 6 monthly compliance reports and all these things are happening.
So in fact, I would like to have a developer perspective from both of you over here. Do you think so that, we are moving into an era, or we should move into an era where having a green certification should be a must for applying an occupancy certificate? At this moment, it's not must. It is good to have. But if it becomes mandatory,
No, for green certification, either within this country or outside, it is not like a luxury anymore. It is a mandatory. It is part of our specifications.
It is
So,
your specification.
yeah,
What I'm
yeah.
saying that without
Even
that,
for, yeah, actually when we develop, we wanted to be any developer. He wanted to be away from the common marketing tool where everybody is using with that race, and we want to be one more step ahead. So when we prepare a grade A buildings, and Ragaj is having 5 big vertical like a hotel, mall, commercial, residential, and data centers. So we are specified earlier with only electromechanical specification, civil and structural. But now there is one more page added with sustainable. And this is whether clients are asking or not, we always build a building for next 20, 25 years. And post that, it is going to be a mandatory. It is not like anymore like, I'm building this, okay, tomorrow you come and add it. Earlier it was only a namesake, but now it is the people wanted to feel the building is made of with a green building material, which nobody even know that. I will only publish that this is green, platinum or gold or silver or certified. Whereas, it is hidden. But we are happy that, we have these provisions. Then the people are looking at where the living spaces are completely within the specifications what they are asked for it. Even then that indoor air quality or known carbon or VOC or the glare control, all are actually, now people may not be feel, but they are looking for it. So when we develop, we are, in fact, we have almost 99.9% of our buildings are green certified.
Tripti, your view?
So just adding to the conversation, I completely agree. It's very important to look at the full life cycle in terms of designing for a green asset and then the construction practices being to a standard that is green certified. Beyond that, the ongoing performance as well. And that is also what occupiers, investors are particular about, to see how a building will actually perform. So certifications are important. They're tremendously important because they send the right signal to the community overall about the commitment of the developer to develop a green asset. But it goes beyond that into the ongoing performance. And we see that occupiers also with their live dashboards are closely tracking their energy consumption, water usage, waste management systems, etc. And because of that, the kind of consumption trends and the savings, operational efficiencies, etc. So these kind of evidence-based performance, ongoing certifications that we spoke about are very important as well.
Got it. Got it.
I'll add something.
Yeah, please.
So, Abhishek, I feel that it is always case to case, okay? When you are building new, so you have a different approach. For the builder also, and for the what you are giving to tenants, that's also different. But when it comes to the operational side, when suppose this is a hotel and I want to give it green certification, so that is a very different case. Because here your entire methodology changes, your standard changes. So there you find a lot of issues which is related to your retrofitting issue. That may be your some design interventions where you need to again, you need to do some brainstorming. Because most of I have seen that the fresh air is not available in most of the prestigious buildings. I think you would be agree that in every building, I would say majority of the building, we have seen that there is centralized air conditioning system, but there is no fresh air. Where in the green building certification, fresh air integration is must. This is what we always say that how the green buildings are beneficial for your health and wellness.
I don't know from where we
Very
should get
important.
fresh air in NCR.
I'll tell you
How would you
if
certify?
I'll tell you if we bring some monitor here and CO2 monitor or IAQ monitoring you start doing, you will be surprised that how much CO2 ppm will be here and all the parameters, air quality index. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. This mat is also emitting some VOC contents. Even your furniture is also emitting. VOC emissions are there. So this is what in the green certification. It's a transformation. It's a transition exercise actually. So it's not every time building new, getting incentive, that's another case. But so much of, we have a built environment, all your green spaces, offices, I'm taking space in some building, I have to do interiors as per the green specification. So very importantly, I need to understand those standards, its applicability. So the matter is that. So I think this is what with your policies like ICI Bank, Care Heja, I know that you people have all projects green. But I'm talking about, just for every builder, or not builder, but facility management companies like Enorock or JLL, Knight Frank, other companies who are operating those buildings. So it is very important O&M functionalities also. Yeah.
So, Mr.
Yeah, I would like to add one point. So what I agree with what Trupti just said. See, this is about the mentality. You know how the people are changing, their thought process are changing there. In fact, just giving an example of my company, we have few green certified ready mix concrete plants there. And but we are keep monitoring our water consumption. We are also using the doing the recycling of the water, the wastewater there, and consume in the plant with some other activities inside the plant only in all 58 plants there. So nobody is going to ask that whether we need a green certificate. We already get a green certificate for my plant there for the next 2 years there. But this is a continuous activity, and which is the senior management is now monitoring this there, and they are reviewing on the monthly basis that how much recycled water you have used there. So these kind of the thought process is required for everywhere. It is not only on the building material. We are only the building materials concrete manufacturers there.
Correct.
Because validation of green certification is also, there is a limitation in the time period. It's a 3 years.
Yeah.
So you have to do some consistent efforts, to maintain its greenness and sustainability
Absolutely.
features.
Absolutely.
So it is not just you take the green certification and for entire life you will say that you are green. No, it is a consistent efforts and continuous improvement in the processes.
Yeah, that is correct, because that after you are operating, you have another certification which you need to be renewed on year, and you will have a third party. It is not like I am having it green certificate, platinum. Maintaining a platinum is actually another challenge. The old building which is already there without a certification, bringing them to the green certification is another challenge. And making the facility meeting to that requirement also another challenge. So this is the drive from the group, how you wanted to establish yourself into a model what you wanted to demonstrate to the country.
Got it. So, Mr. Gupta, when you are pitching for new innovative products to your clients or occupiers, what are the biggest challenges what you face? Is it cost, awareness, trust?
I feel the biggest challenge which the Indian market is facing is the trust. So cost, everywhere it is a cost. Everyone is a cost conscious, and I'm just talking about the concrete and these kind of things there. Cost-wise, okay, fine. People are, sometimes managing their performance, yes, managing there. But trust is a major part. Because trust, the challenge from the consultants we are facing, okay, you have a green concrete. You can give us a certificate for that, the concrete, that this is the how much the carbon footprints you are reducing there. We are using the recycled aggregates there. But what would be the long-term performance? Because concrete is not for the 5 years or the 10 years. It is almost at 100 years and 100 years plus there. So what would be the long-term performance there? So that kind of a trust, and this is the challenge what we are facing, and we have a solution also for that. We are giving them the the reports, and then we are trying to whatever be the best available things are available, tests are available there. We are doing on that particular products there, and we are submitting them. This is how we are making. But this is the major, and it may take some another, I think, 4 or 5 years time, that every consultant is accepting, okay, I want the green concrete only. It is hardly matter of whether you are using this, recycled aggregates, recycled water.
Yeah.
So that kind of a challenge.
So in next probably 5 to 10 years, what are those innovative products which you may expect in the market which can change this perception, or it can make the sustainable products more acceptable? I think this probably goes to all three of you.
Yeah.
You also, Tripti also.
I'm from the concrete, building material concrete, which is almost 70 to 80%, and concrete, I have a rough idea, somewhere around 1,070 tons of concrete per second, the world is consuming. So after water, concrete is the most consumable man-made material in the world there. Definitely, there are lots of research going on the cement side there. The new LC3 cement is coming, so lime, clay,
How
calcined
that would be
limestone.
different from what we are using now?
So this is a different because it is going to reduce the overall content of the clinker. Clinker is a major substance which are going to make the cement there. So when we are extract the calcium carbonate from the or the limestone from the mines there, and then we burn that one and we make the concrete cement there, clinker there. Lots of energy is consumed and lots of for carbon footprints are there. So when we are making the concrete and when we are going for that, so if we can reduce that particular thing with a substantial or the the other kind of a material which is having a cementitious properties there, then we can reduce the carbon footprints there. So in this particular case, I think more than 70% of the CO2 as compared to the OPC can be saved there. And this is very fast, it is coming there, everyone is working on that. So building material wise, this is the one of the major things are going on. Then lots of other like, the cross-linked timbers are coming up, which are going to absorb. Lots of concrete research are going on, which are the carbon neutral or carbon negative there. So they are absorbing the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. That kind of research is going on there. So these kind of things are going to be change the overall construction pattern.
That's great to know, actually. Tripti, your view on this?
So I just adding to what Nitin is saying, we've heard about a lot of building materials in detail, and thank you for sharing few of these things. Being a developer, even I am finding truly insightful. Just want to add a little about smart solutions that can contribute to wellness and sustainability. For example, bringing in smart sensors across a building to be able to monitor the environment, such as, and Mala spoke about the air quality, the wellness of the occupier. So natural daylighting, the orientation of a building, a lot of biophilic materials as well, like green walls, landscaping, things that make you feel positive, take care of the environment, and automatically boost the productivity and well-being of the building's occupants. These are also a few solutions that one can look at in a developed space that is catering to sustainable and well-being of the occupants.
And that's interesting. I'm just conscious about the time, so something a last rapid-fire question to all of you, probably one or two word answer. Yes, one myth you would like to burn or eliminate about the green buildings. About the green buildings or sustainability. Don't say it out; it is exposed.
Yeah. Green buildings are expensive. That is a myth.
That's an easier one. That's an easy answer.
Another myth about green buildings is that they are not, they're not benchmarked well in all terms, post-occupation also. I think the more green buildings are coming out now, the post-occupation monitoring is also taking place.
So,
I would like to answer it in a different way. What exactly is the sustainability? Sustainability is the social, environmental, and economical there. So when the sustainability point is coming, so it should fulfill all three circles there. And whatever be the common one, that is the sustainability there. So people have a myth, what Dr. Mala and you said about it, that it is more costly, it is not good for the society there. These kind of things are coming, I'm not talking about the building only, but overall there. So this is how the, the due course of time, if we can properly put the facts in front of the society, that can be changed.
sure. Senthil?
Sustainable or green is not expense, it is actually investment. So you always have a return on investment. So be on top of it.
Got it.
Sustainable buildings are demanded only by MNCs. That's a myth.
Interesting. I think that's a great discussion what we had, and I think I'll open up the for the queries from the audience.
At your end to answer the queries.
Hi. I have one question and one comment actually. My question is to Tripti. You mentioned about investors' perspective. So apart from green building certification, what typical KPIs do an investor ask for when it comes to sustainability? Is it green building certification or design or procurement? What are the key parameters or the key elements which investors look at when it comes to sustainability? And my comment actually was to Abhishek. You were mentioning where do you find fresh air in NCR? I think you should visit Paharpur Business Center in South Delhi.
Oh, yes, yes.
They have one of the best plant species which help in bringing fresh air and
Yes,
have a microclimate.
That's the only 10,000 square feet available where you can have fresh air.
Yeah, Tripti.
Yes, correct.
So, I mean, when it comes to an investment decision in any asset, I'll answer this question a little broadly. When it comes to the investment decision, it is definitely about the kind of demand, the kind of talent pool, who is this building catering to, what kind of development is it, what is the level of acceptance in the market for this development, who is the developer, what is the credibility, what is the track record, what is the commitment to green building in terms of the kind of design process, the kind of construction commitments by the developer. So all these, and of course, backed and certified by reputed bodies. So all this put together would make into an investment decision. Plus, if there is any kind of pre-commitment as well on a building, that definitely increases the probability of getting an investor in.
I think ESG disclosure, which is the most important now, because that defines the holistic picture of the institution, in terms of environment, social, and economics. All three triple bottom lines are covered in that. So this is what the investors have more influence. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sir, one thought to share. The challenge today on sustainability is, what is the method or the methodology of retaining the intensity of the color green for the life of the structure, not only the structure, but even for the environment and Mother Earth?
In fact, that's what we were discussing, that, there is no set standard right now. Probably whatever we have discussed right now might not be relevant tomorrow. I think that's what we were
The
discussing.
point brought out is very, very pertinent, especially when you read the news that Gurgaon, what it is going through in waste disposal. I think we all are very, very aware and conscious now that we may have green buildings, but the ecosystem needs to be equally sustainable.
So my answer to you is, it is always consistent efforts, to operate and maintain that building in such a way, so whatever biophilic design component are there, that is being maintained, or if required, it need to be replaced, retrofitted, whatever. So you need to pay the best attention towards sustainability feature of the building throughout. So that if you need to change something, you need to switch off something, you need to phase out some electromechanical equipment. So you need to check on its performance. And there are performance metrics, which is already embedded in the green building standard itself.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah,
It's
one
a continuous.
important, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, it's okay.
One important point here is, in the design stage of buildings itself, we need to be now going one step ahead. In India especially, in future years, the groundwater is going to become a huge problem.
Yeah.
Now, are the developers aware of that? Wherever they are making those constructions, what is the underground water situation in that? There are efforts on in India. I met some people who are doing exactly this work, who are able to diagnose which areas are more suitable for sustaining the groundwater for longer time, and which underground areas can be treated to ensure that the groundwater remains sustainable. So such things, air, groundwater, all these things have to be very, very well managed, and the overall infrastructure around the building.
See, I just want to add this one, because we forget about water. We think that whatever what we seeing actually is water. In fact, the statistics says in the entire world, if it is 77% is air, water, and 23 is earth. Out of 23, you are having 68% of fresh water, which is glacier and icebergs, which you cannot use it. And then what you have a 30% is with underground water. And only 1% you are seeing lake, rivers, entire world. And out of that, which is contaminated or you are spoiled due to your industry, 0.03% only you are ready to use fresh water. Out of that 0.03, how much water India is having, I leave it to you to assume. Entire world I'm talking about. So we forget that, okay, water I'm having it, I'll take a shower, let it go, and I'm using it. But it is a dot of entire earth what you are wasting today. So we are not bothered. Now we have enough matured on electricity, where you have a renewable energy, solar, wind, turbine, or capsule, nuclear plant, which is going to come for a community like this. So all are, we are okay with that electrical part, even though you, on side, you are grow with data centers, which takes, one data center takes almost 50,000 houses of any community. So entire Mumbai need a 4 gigawatts. That data center what we are developing itself actually a 4 gigawatts. So we are managing to do with the electrical part. And pollution is not only which is industry is clearing it. And we need to be more careful on how we are going to continue the resource reserve. So water is another aspect which we are also asking, which he has mentioned that how I'll build a building and then leave it for a year, it never happens. Earlier you used 150 liter per person. Now it can go 45. Tomorrow you have it net ground zero. Then you will have 1 mug of water for fill one day. So it is how you are evaluating yourself on a day-to-day basis to save the Mother Earth and save the reservoir we have.
I would have loved to continue this discussion, but probably our time is up.
One last quip, because I'm a defense officer. I was very pleased to see the master stroke of the government as far as the waters of India flowing into Pakistan.
I think I would like to say something because the concept is Harit Bharat. So where, we are talking about Shashwat Vikas, sustainable development. So here the role and contribution from each and every stakeholder of the community, which is important. As a builder or real estate player, what I'm building responsibly, that's important. For an architect, it's important that how I am designing responsibly. Then, as an engineer or whosoever stakeholders are on board, they also, do brainstorming on the green and sustainability aspects. Finally, once the building comes into the operation, it may be single owner occupied or multi-tenant, whatever, any typology. I think it is again a community-driven initiative. The people who are staying in that building, who are operating that building, so how they are also be aware about these concepts and they are competent enough to, they are enabled to operate and maintain all those features efficiently, and they are also adding value day by day in their consistent efforts to maintain the sustainability aspect of the building or its infrastructure or it's a city, you talk about anything. So I think finally we have to see that what I'm contributing to my city, what I'm contributing to my state, and what I'm contributing to my nation to meet these aspirations of becoming net zero. This is what. Thank you so much.
Very well said.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for this
Absolutely
contribution.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. A big, big, big round of applause for all of them. Please, I'll request all my distinguished speakers and moderator to please remain on stage. And in the meantime, I'll request Mr. Bijit Purushothaman, National Head Business Development Everest, to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers over here. A big round of applause for Mr. Bijit as well, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Thank you so much to all of you over here who asked questions. Thank you so much for answering the queries as well. Can we have the token of appreciation over here on stage? And once the token of appreciations are given away, we'll do a nice group photograph with all of you together. Yes, we can continue the clapping and appreciation, ladies and gentlemen. Our speakers have shared a lot of wisdom and knowledge for all of us over here. We can certainly acknowledge that to good effect. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please request all of you with folded hands to continue the appreciation game more and more for all our speakers over here. Thank you. And now I'll request all of you to please kindly come forward over here for a nice group photograph. Please, sir, you also be over here. Yes. This is the moment we need to clap and appreciate, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure the smiles will widen up all the way more with all your clapping and appreciation. So thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing all of you stalwarts and experts the next year as well. Thank you for gracing our event and making it a success from your end. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Pleasure to have all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move forward to the next panel, we have a fascinating session over here right now, and I request all of you to please kindly keep your mobile phones in silent mode, as we don't want to distract any of our speakers over here. Before we move forward to the next panel discussion, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to right now call somebody a true visionary and a leader in the real sense of the term. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a big, thunderous round of applause for the one and only Dr. Anurag Batra, sir, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Exchange for Media Group and BW Business World Media Group. A bigger round of applause for Dr. Batra, please, ladies and gentlemen. I request all of you.
Shubho, your fees still remain the same. Whatever they are, I don't know, whatever they are. Tripti, are we paying him or he is paying us? Okay. But on a very serious note, just to take the theme of the conference very seriously, I'm wearing a green shirt. And that's, you can see, is true. That's not a joke. My flight got delayed. I'm coming from Delhi. I live in Delhi. Delhi and Bombay are becoming similar in lots of bad aspects. Whenever there's rain, I think it's the same behavior in Delhi and Bombay. I don't know. I'm not an expert on sustainability. I can't even call myself an expert on real estate, though I started my career in real estate. I know a little bit about it. The more you know, the less you know. I've been in media for the last 25 plus years. But it's something that's very close to me and my heart, and in our own way, we try and practice that. So I'll keep it very short. I know there are esteemed leaders from the industry. Ms. Dhulia is going to moderate the session, so I don't want to stand between you and her. But first of all, I want to say that sustainability, she was, you know, I'm a journalist. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm in the content business. You were saying to one of your panelists, to you, sir, to Mr. George Abraham, that, oh, I'm an MBA in sustainability and something, right? I went to a business school 30 years back. I want to tell Mr. Narang, who was talking, and one of the panelists who was talking about water, that my roommate in the first year in that business school, and our hostel was like a 4-star hotel, maybe 5-star. I went to MDI in 1994, hired Sanjay Verma, who's one batch junior to me, who in real estate services. That's how he came into the services. That's predestined, nothing to do with me. But my roommate was so ahead of time. He was so careful about water usage. He used to take a bath once in 3 months. And that's not a joke. So he was really conserving water. I think he should get an award. But I had a new roommate in the second year who was a South Indian. Both were South Indian. But on a serious note, sustainability has to be taught in business schools. Today, at grassroots level in schools, young children are being sensitized. My son, who's in class 12, and he's he's doing a project where he's going to schools and talking to others, younger leaders about sustainability. He does a startup in the eco-waste space. He's trying to build something. He's not yet 17. In a month, he'll be 17. So I think when we were growing up, our lifestyles were more sustainable, but we didn't know the word sustainability, okay? But today, I'm not sure our lifestyles, we fly so much, we use so much. And the biggest thing that is happening is the business of carbon credits. There are large Indian companies that are buying lands and putting lots of trees. They're thinking 5, 10, 20, 30 years ahead. And the business of carbon credits is becoming bigger. The Indian companies are selling carbon credits to global companies. You are all a very aware lot. You are a domain expert, as you would call. So I think we've leapfrogged a lot. But like I live in Delhi, I go to the India International Center, and in the washrooms, there is a certain technology for the last 6, 7 years, more than 5 years, which is waterless urinals. And a couple of days back, I see it every time I go there and go to the washroom, but I took a photo and I said, I want to meet the founders of this company. So there are lots of startups that are trying to make sure India's unique issues, as India grows, are dealt through solutions which are unique for India, especially from an adoption and price point. So I don't want to evangelize too much to this audience who really are practitioners. I met Mr. Tiwari outside. I can only say that three things matter. One is the government is doing enough to be able to bring policy and an enabling framework that makes sure that everything that is being talked about here in terms of green buildings and energy and practices that really enable a, green Bharat, so to say, are adopted by the industry. Second thing is, on 9th April 2022, I came with my daughter to Bombay. She'd come when she was 6 years old with me, and she was almost 17 then. She was speaking at a UN summit, UN Changemaker Summit. It was at the, near the naval docks, and the head of the Indian Navy was there, and she had a session later. But I heard the session of the admiral who was head of the Indian Navy, and he talked about if we want to save our country and the world, we must save the oceans. I don't know how we can save the oceans. It's a very arrogant thing to say we can save the planet Earth or Mother Earth. But and then it's serendipity. Maybe a week later, I was sitting in Habitat Center and in the library, and I saw a Time magazine cover which talked about oceans. So I read it because I'd heard this talk, and then I became too much interested in it. And then I saw lots of docus, I read a lot. The better the oceans do, the better we will do. That, you know that why I'm saying, those who are deep dive experts, I'm a seeker, so I can't say I am an expert, but I'm sensitized enough to know that just a simple fact that the big mammals in the oceans, when they, they're able to absorb a lot of gases. So if the big mammals, their numbers come down, their volume comes down, it is bad for us. The oceans are shrinking. The more the oceans are shrinking, it's bad for the earth. And I'm not just talking India. You know this. So first of all, whatever you do, you have to build climate consciousness at every level in the organization. At Business World for the last 6 years, we rank India's top 500 companies, the BW 500 companies, on sustainable practices. It's called the India's Most Sustainable Companies ranking, and we do a conference and awards. Of course, Realty Plus for the last 21 years, complete 21 in the next 13 days, right? My daughter will be 21 plus, Realty 1 plus will be 21 plus that day. My daughter and Realty Plus were born on the same day. So first is raising the consciousness, because till I heard that chat, I wouldn't say I was like Donald Trump, who says climate change is a hoax. He says a lot of things that are not true. This is also not true, right? But yes, I thought it was a buzzword, like in corporate world, every 3 years, 6 years, buzzword. So we have to bring climate consciousness, sustainability practices as part of the fabric of the organization. Energy saving, it is real, it saves energy. The last thing I want to say is that we are a growing nation. We are building a structure like no other country. And my wife was traveling to the US last year, on to my daughter's university. And day before yesterday, I was sitting with somebody very important, and we were discussing how India's infrastructure is actually much better. We're talking of airports, specifically airports. It's so much better because we build new airports, they have old airports. But then we also talked about the Kuala Lumpur airport, which I started going to 25 years back, maybe 26 years back. First time I went to the Kuala Lumpur airport. And they built an airport for the next 50, 100 years, right? It still looks like that. I'm making a point. Whatever we do, we have to do at scale. One thing we have to learn from Reliance, whatever they do at scale. They come in the media sector, they're doing it at scale. Whatever they do, right? And the great thing about this government is this government thinks ahead and also thinks on scale. It thinks 5, 10 years ahead, thinks on the Prime Minister and the government thinks on a scale. So when we are thinking of sustainability and adopting practices, we have to think of whatever we are doing at a certain scale. I had a presentation, but I won't use it. I use it at the awards. But I welcome you to this Realty plus Harit Bharat Leadership Summit and Awards. I'm sure it will have some meaningful conversations on new ideas. You learn from each other, connect with each other, collaborate with each other. But I wanted to, I'll skip all this. This is a book I read 4 months back. The publisher should pay me a royalty. I bought 2,000 copies, given it at conferences. It's a book called Fluke. It's written by a social scientist called Brian Closs. And it basically says whatever happens in life is fluke, is serendipity, is chance, luck, whatever word. I don't like the word accident, so I won't use that. When I was younger, I used to say I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I don't use that anymore. I don't like negative words. It basically says, you know, there are leaders. We take what we do very seriously, I'm sure. All of you do. I take what we do very seriously. Tripti Sapna and the whole Realty Plus team takes whatever we do very seriously. And that's a good thing. But everything in life is about luck. It's about serendipity. It's about, I'm a Hindu, it's preordained, prarabdha, right? So sometimes we give too much credit to ourselves for our success. Life is a series of, you know, small miracles that happen and they get you to points. So sometimes I feel that leaders, CEOs, founders, CXOs are too like, we did it, which is okay because they did it. But I think I just want to say that humility leads to more collaborations. We live in a collaborative world. And the best, it has lovely stories in it. It's great storytelling and examples. There are many happy stories. There are some sad stories. I'll tell you the sad story and run away. There are two colleagues, a lady and a gentleman in a company, and they meet in New York. The lady gets the gentleman a tie. He's wearing a certain shirt. He wears the tie on the shirt, but the lady says to him that the tie doesn't look good on that shirt, so he goes back to his hotel room. He's ironing his shirt. Another shirt which fits the tie design, like Mr. Abraham's tie, very nice tie, sir. While he's doing this, the lady colleague goes to the office. While she's in the office are in Twin Towers. The planes hit the Twin Towers. She dies and this guy survives. Thus the act of she getting a tie for him and telling him the tie doesn't look, sends him. And there are some happy stories in it. And the best way to illustrate this is, if Donald Trump hadn't ducked, the world would be a very different place. I'm happy he's alive. Nobody should die. Right? I'm not suggesting that. But if he hadn't ducked, it would be a very, very different place, right? I can give you many examples from my life. I was coming from Delhi to Bombay in the flight. It is a month where my and my daughter's birthday, we share our birthday. And last year, my mother and father came on 24th to my home. And 9.5 months back, my mother passed away while she was at my home. And I was thinking about many things on the flight. I can only say that my last slide, because all executives are too busy working. This is a book I read 20 plus years back. I can't be sure how many, but 20 plus, definitely. More like 22, 23. Has anybody read this book? And ma'am, what is the lesson you took away from the book? Gratitude, of course, my mother used to say, and I realized it. What about you? Sir, you raised your hand. What is the takeaway from the book? Taking no. Right? Okay. So I'll keep it short. It basically says spend time with your loved ones. That's the message I took away. Okay. So we are too busy. You know, I'm going to be in Bombay for 6 days. That's the longest I've spent it. You know, I have 5 events in various parts of my businesses, and I have some other things to do. And I was thinking, am I doing the right thing? My dad, you know, he's 85. He's going to be 85 soon. And, you know, I must spend more time with my dad because he's getting older. And I know from my mother's gone, my children's grown up, and definitely my wife. So maybe I'll travel a little lesser than I do from September, little lesser. So whatever you do, spend time with your loved ones, husband, wife, brother, sister, parents. And you know, why am I saying these things? So you're all grown up. I don't need to talk to you, but I'm reiterating. So all the best. And there's one, because it was a real estate forum, there's one slide I brought in, that these are the industries that are growing. So if you look at e-commerce, this is a McKinsey study which says in 2040, we're in 2025, in the next 15 years, e-commerce will be 20 trillion economy, which means more warehouses, which means real estate will do, which means everything that you're talking here, you need to apply. AI software will be 4.5 trillion, which again means large, facilities, cloud services. Data centers are taking up so much space. Last night I was in a discussion with some very important people. They're building a data center, and the scale of the data center I heard was like, it was mind-boggling. It was truly global. Electric vehicles, digital ads. Digital ads, we are at 1.1 trillion, so it will be 2.9 trillion. Semiconductors, autonomous vehicles, all these industries, space, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity means again bigger data centers. So everything that is happening will lead to real estate being in more demand, and hence everything you're talking about, Harit Bharat, will need to be implemented. I want to leave you here, wish you luck. And the last thing, which I haven't done last night, normally I practice what I preach, sir, Mr. Tiwari. How many of you sleep less than 6 hours every night? Only like 20%. How many sleep more than 7 hours? Most people do, right? And how many sleep more than 8 hours in the night? Oh, I hope no one sleeps at work, okay? 1, 2, 3. So whatever you do, yesterday I slept only 4.5, 5 hours, which makes me very abnormal because I'm used to sleeping 8+ hours. Whatever you do, sleep 8+ hours. Your long-term health, your mindfulness, your concentration, how much you eat, depends on how well you sleep. If you had to do one thing well in life, that would be to sleep 8+ hours and keep your phone away. And I follow it 25 days in a month, maybe not 30, right? So again, India is a sleep-deprived country. More and more Indians are sleeping lesser. They have sleep disorders, and they have longevity issues because of sleep. Parkinson's. There is a book I read 10 years back by Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep. There's a YouTube talk, you can watch that. If you watch that talk, you will never sleep less than 8 hours. So I wish you luck, and I look forward to the panel discussion that Ms. Dipali Dhulia is moderating. Sorry for being late, but I am here, and I'll see you during the day. God bless you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that fascinating keynote, I believe we can clap a lot louder for Dr. Batra, please. Everything right from wisdom related to business to personal health and sleep, a lot has been said. So thank you so much, Dr. Batra. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will now be moving on to the second panel discussion of the day. The topic that's going to be discussed right now is Beyond Glass and Steel, Collective Consciousness for Climate Resilience. And I'll request if we can take away the bottles, because this is an event regarding sustainability, so it's better if we remove them, right? So can I please have some help regarding removing the bottles? Yeah. I'll help you. Wait, come. Thank you so much for putting the mics on stage. All right, so quickly moving on, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be about Beyond Glass and Steel, Collective Consciousness for Climate Resilience. Like the format follows, I'm going to be first introducing our honorable moderator. I'm going to be requesting her then to come on stage, and after her introduction is done, I'll be introducing our speakers in alphabetical order, and then I'll request all of you to join me on stage after that. Ladies and gentlemen, this session is going to be moderated by someone who specializes in integrating ESG into core business strategies for long-term value creation. She has successfully implemented ESG initiatives that enhance financial performance, environmental outcomes, and community impact, offering strategic insights for complex sustainability challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a thunderous round of applause for the one and only Dipali Dhulia, ma'am, Director, Strategic Consulting, Cushman and Wakefield, India. Dipali ji, thank you so much for being with us over here, ma'am. I'll request you to please take your seat. Can we have a bigger round of applause for her, please, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. Now I'm going to be introducing our speakers in alphabetical order. We have with us someone who's a senior architect and design practice leader with over 25 years of experience delivering projects across workplace, commercial, corporate, cultural, education, science, and technology. You name it all, she's done it all. Residential sectors in India and the USA as well. Her expertise lies in design, collaboration, project management, and ensuring excellence in design, documentation, and implementation. Please give a warm, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Aparna Khimani, Senior Associate, Co-Managing Director, Gensler, Mumbai. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming over here. I'll request you to take your seat. And I'll request you to take that seat because we are just positioning, keeping the aesthetics in mind. So, yeah, that's how it is. We'll quickly move on to our next honorable speaker. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, he drives market development initiatives and activities for US Green Building Council, USGBC, and Green Business Certification Institute, GBCI, in North India. He drives market awareness for green programs and provides insights into choosing the right pathway towards operational efficiency, decarbonization efforts, water and waste efficiency, net zero approaches, and of course, ESG initiatives. Please give a warm, big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for George Abraham, Regional Head, Market Development, GBCI. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us over here. Such a pleasure to have you. I'll request you to take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, he brings over 34 years of leadership experience with extensive exposure across diverse industries and large-scale power and construction projects. And of course, he's played a pivotal role in driving sustainable development strategies aligned with market trends and organizational values. Please welcome on stage Lalit Kumar Tiwari, President EHS and Group Chief Sustainability Officer, ESG Kalpataru Group. Thank you so much, sir. Such a pleasure to have you over here. I'll request you to take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker started his architectural consulting firm way back in the year 1986. And currently, he has offices in Mumbai, Pune, and Daman, Ahmedabad, and Chennai. He has been involved in national and international projects of repute that include textile, engineering, pharmaceutical, chemical industries, and hotels, along with projects relating to commercial, residential, and of course, infrastructure. Please welcome on stage Prashant Deshmukh, Principal Architect Prashant Deshmukh and Associates. Prashant, sir, thank you so much. Pleasure to have you. I'll request you to take your seat, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker for the session, she's over 20 years of environmental consultancy experience and has worked with regulatory bodies in UK and India in various infrastructure, city planning and construction projects. She's the member of the Mahindra and Mahindra CSR Council and Sustainability Council, working group member of World Business Council of Sustainable Development, as well as a fellow of Royal Met Society London, certified GHG emissions quantifier. Please welcome on stage the one and only Dr. Sunita Purushottam, Head Sustainability, Mahindra Lifespace Developers Limited. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us over here. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the panel for the speakers. And on that note, ma'am, I'll request you to take it forward. Can we update the timer quickly for the reference of our speakers? Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much for those kind words. Really appreciate it. And it's an absolute honor to be present here among such esteemed panelists. Thank you so much for having me here. Today's topic of our panel discussion is Beyond Glass and Steel, Collective Consciousness for Climate Resilience. I think it's a very, very critical topic today, and it signals a shift from treating buildings as isolated structures to treating them as ecosystems for collective consciousness and shared responsibility. With that, let me just start with some facts about the building and the construction sector. Building and construction sector are massive emitters of carbon emissions, accounting for about 1/3 of the global carbon emissions. This means what we design today locks in emissions and risks that we may have to be experiencing in the future decades to come. As per the United Nations, 50% of the built environment of 2050 is yet to be built. Therefore, we've got immense opportunity to integrate climate resilient in our design and in our entire built environment to ensure that we mitigate carbon emissions across the life cycle of any built environment. And we also take adaptive measures to ensure that we sustain any impact from any of the extreme climate-related events that we're witnessing today. Since the time we've started having the conversations around sustainable built environment, there has always been a huge focus on achieving resource efficiency, integrating smart systems, smart automation, efficient technologies, and very limited focus initially was on the entire life cycle of a project or even climate resilience, which is critical for any building. But today we are witnessing that the climate vulnerabilities are for real. It's no more in theory. We're actually facing the impacts of climate-related events in our day-to-day lives, be it extreme rainfall in Mumbai or be it flooding in Uttarakhand or even extreme heat that we're facing in Delhi. It's all real and it is impacting our day-to-day lives and, of course, the overall business ecosystem. As per the World Economic Forum, climate change has also been stated as one of the top risks globally. So it means clearly that, this is a real problem that we are facing today. With this, I would like to highlight that it is time that we cultivate a collective consciousness, which means that we need to build and adapt to all the climate-related impacts that we are facing today, not as isolated structures, but as ecosystems, as a community. Today's discussion is going to be around this, where we're going to deep dive into what are the different elements that constitute efficient designs that helps us build resilient structures. With that, I would like to open the panel and ask Ms. Aparna, as a professional deeply engaged in designing, planning, and execution, what emerging shifts in the market are you seeing with respect to climate resilient built environment and also overall architecture and planning?
Thank you, Dipali. I'd say the need for climate action is like urgent, like yesterday, so we can't afford to wait anymore. So our firm, Gensler, essentially, we made an audacious commitment in 2019, saying that by year 2030, whether clients ask us to or not, all of our projects are going to be carbon zero, right? And we didn't know how, right? But we, like everything else in life, if you put your intent out there, you'll figure out a way. So what we are doing is, our plan is, firstly, you can't do this alone. It's going to take partnerships and collaborations that are cross-firm, cross-industry to do this. The second is, how can you improve your design and delivery mechanisms and processes so that you are able to predict where you're going to land, right? Have accountability. So, intuitively feeling that this option is better than that, you'll get something. But if you really want to have significant impact, you really need to know, where are you landing and how can you push it further and use even less carbon. So measurement and accountability is the third pillar of climate action at our firm.
Great. I think data is very critical in whatever we do. If we have the right data, we'll be able to implement the right measures. With that, Mr. Prashant, I would also like to understand from you, being a veteran in the commercial, residential, and infrastructure space, delivering huge projects across, what kind of expectations do customers have in your network? And how are you trying to cater to those expectations with respect to sustainable designs, climate resilient buildings, sustainable materials? What change are you witnessing in your network?
Yeah, I think day by day the awareness to this kind of customer orientation is happening in a very big way, I would say, not only in India but over the entire area. And probably people have visited the first sustainable city, Masdar, where everything is absolutely different, and it's near Abu Dhabi, and I had fortune to be there when it was completed. So I believe that is one of the dreams that has come true for the human being, and things are possible. And that's where I think most of the customers are coming, reaching us, and they are just talking about, they want something altogether different than what seeing the only concrete and, a lot of carbon, a lot of heat coming in, and, getting out of the nature, like F.L. Wright used to say, bringing, outside into inside. So probably that is the meaning of what FLW wanted to say to the architects, that can you build something which is a part of the nature rather than being out of the nature? So I think that is where the sustainability props in, whether we can bring the green inside, whether we can have the light or the heat filtered, and we can use the materials which are not like artificial material that has come out of the different technology products. So most of the customers now, they want something, which is earthen, something which is absolutely natural, very close to the nature, whether it is a flowing water body or, the cascading effect within the hotels. You will find these things are coming up now again. It was there in the earlier days. I was just wondering, we had Hawa Mahal in Jaipur, which was actually a jali out of stone, and it could control the air movement and heat movement inside. So one of my clients was saying that, Prashant, look, this happened in Rajasthan many, many years ago. Why it is not happening here now? So, these are the kind of mindset shift that's happening, I think, paradigm shift. And it is challenge for the architects to cope up with this rather than only merely looking after getting lead points. Sorry to say, but then getting the IGBC or all these kind of clearances, they all come out of these things. It's going to be very tough. It's going to be very challenging, I know. But Dr. Batra said about, creating something which has a life beyond. Can the architects today imagine and visualize something that is going to happen down the line in terms of climate change, in terms of, many natural calamities happening around us, and how do we design structure to suit all that and still make the customers or the residents happy? I think that is challenge for all of us.
Absolutely. I think being an architect, it's also important for you to keep the aesthetics in mind. Even though we talk about sustainability elements being integrated, there's still, that element that the aesthetics should be appealing. It should look good, irrespective of what material goes in.
Yeah, aesthetics is the main thing, I think, is the trend of the day. We always call that architects create trends. So if that is there, then that is again a jigsaw puzzle. I would say that we have aesthetics on one end and all these green aspects on the other end, and trying to match them up. But I believe that if we keep trying to resolve this puzzle, probably the sustainable elements would help you achieving a better aesthetic.
Absolutely. There's another big focus that we're witnessing today, which is on the entire life cycle of any building. There's a lot of focus on assessing what are the embodied carbons for a building. Considering this, it's important to note that, steel, glass, all of these elements go into the construction of any building. Steel contributes to about 25% of construction sector's embodied carbon. while glass and steel extraction, manufacturing, transport, the entire process emits a lot of carbon emissions into the environment across the life cycles. So Neeta, my question is for you as a developer designing for climate resilience. What is the role of materials like glass and steel in contributing to embodied carbon? And how does this shape your material selection and design elements?
So out of syllabus questions, मतलब तुम्हारे I mean जो questions तुमने मुझे नहीं किए वो उसका आंसर देना चाहती हूँ पहले. First of all, from a collective consciousness perspective, I think I'm a little surprised today that we are sitting in Novotel and Novotel has offered plastic bottles. And consciously or unconsciously, because the nudge was provided to us, वो bottle है, पीना ज़रूरी नहीं है. हमने उसमें से पिया है. Okay, we are all sustainability professionals here. I have my bottle as a statement. I don't drink out of plastic. The reason I believe is that water or bottled water, water is a right. And I have right to drinking water wherever I go. Okay, and it is an expectation that I should be able to fill my water bottle with clean water. And can we imagine a world where drinking water is available for all, not at a cost and not in plastic? That is one. So that is about the consciousness out of syllabus. Totally, मेरे को पूछा नहीं था आपने ये, मैंने बोल दिया. The other thing is about, again out of syllabus, it is about the way we design and how climate change is impacting the design of buildings. And I just came out of a meeting where there was a heated debate because I won't give up till my interventions or recommendations are integrated into the development. So I work for Mahindra Life Spaces and there was a project where there was a Nala. And that Nala is experiencing 1 in 100-year flood and it's in Pune, and Pune it started rains in May. And I had told them that no basements and the Nala diversion should not happen. The irrigation department gave us a NOC. The diversion happened. There is a sewer line running through that Nala. Diversion has happened. There are bends. And what happens if a Nala is going like this and there is a 90-degree bend, what happens to the water? And what happens typically when you have a Nala? Nala is a water body. It's not dirty or anything. It's a seasonal water body which gets inundated when there is rain and it's emptying into Mulla River, right? And, you know, so this work has started, excavation has started, and there is flooding. And it gave me goosebumps when I went to the site and I said, bola tha maine. And irrigation department does 1 in 5 year rainfall. Abhi rainfall ho hi nahi raha hai na 1 in 5 year. It is a 1 in 25 year, 1 in 50 year, 1 in 100 year. And every time the rainfall pattern is moving ahead, right? So does it rain in May? It doesn't. May 20th, there was a huge deluge. The site got flooded at that time. And now we are discussing usko kya karna hai, utilities kahan leke jana hai. Okay, so proactive action is what we have to undertake. And we have to also integrate it into design. There is a huge amount of learning architects need to do on rainfall and climate change. If architects don't know what nature is going to do to you and to your developments, please, there is one element that you have missed. You have actually missed climate responsive design sections. The climatology section and building physics is totally ignored during the course of the work. There are very few colleges which integrate that into design. There is SPA, there is IIT Roorkee, and all these colleges emphasize and get the architects to design according to climate responsive design. So why I'm bringing this is what we do as a company. So we have integrated climate responsive design as a process, and we have integrated into the business development process that site kaisa hai, and what kind of sites should we touch, what kind of risks you're going to face, and that if you take particular site and you have said that this is going to be an IRR of this particular site, this is the FSI, and I will add on to it, this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. And if it is undoable at all, I'll give the entire financial impact of building on that site. And it is very difficult. It is not very easy. I won't be able to do the calculations, and every site is different, okay? But we have integrated that as a process. Then we have integrated climate responsive design as a process, and there is a third initiative that we are doing, which is a thought leadership initiative. And I would invite all architectural firms and all developers to actually join that. It is called the Decarbonization Business Charter. It is about real estate companies and the ecosystem. You mentioned that you have taken that target, and I was really amazed that you have taken that target, that we want to do net zero carbon. Please come on board. We don't know how to do it. I would want to invite you and to you as well as GBCI, because Griha is already part of it. GNFZ is also part of it. We need to have those conversations together. Now coming back to the in-syllabus question, sorry, I'm taking longer. Embodied carbon is critical. Embodied carbon has an impact on operational carbon, which nobody is talking about. We are creating these glass hot houses, glass cool houses, because it's air conditioned, emissions associated with, so unfortunately we are adding spaces that have to be artificially cooled. It adds on to the glass. So if a builder wants to sell better, these rooms will have more glass. And when rooms have more glass, and in a residential building, if they have glass end to end, it causes heat gain. And you were anyway going to put the curtain in it, but the heat gain has come, and you will use a AC to cool it. And that is what is happening, unfortunately. It adds on to the embodied carbon, no doubt. Glass, aluminium, steel, concrete. The major contributors are actually steel and concrete. The way to reduce the emissions associated in embodied carbon is LC3, which is calcined clay concrete cement, which is a technology where calcined clay is used to reduce the embodied carbon of the cement, but only one company has started producing it, which is JK Cement. There are issues associated with, the production, because the entire cement production has to be stopped for a cement company to undertake LC3 production. Then there is GFRB, which is the glass fiber reinforced polymer plastic, which is now used for what do you call the outside development, not for the structural. It is not yet permitted for structural, but there is a huge uptake on that, especially for sewers and the external infrastructure development. So these elements we are exploring. Modular constructions, if the modularity in construction can be brought in, it will impact positively on the embodied carbon. The other thing is that the relationship between embodied carbon and this is that if you use concrete walls, which you're using now, it increases the operational carbon intensively. There is no insulation that is being added. The regulation is still not in place. For commercial, many buildings do it because it helps in operational costs. For residential, there needs to be a strong foot put down by the government that insulation is a must. And glass has to be limited. Glass is like tobacco. If you don't use it with care, it will come and bite you. Okay, so windowsill from a safety perspective, 1.2. Currently, go and look in the city. Do visit. You're from Delhi. Do visit number of buildings with safety risk, heat risk, climate risk, everything.
Absolutely. I think you've made a very valid point that which we usually miss out is embodied carbon contributes to operational carbon as well. The glass buildings, I think traditionally we all went with glass buildings because they were aesthetically good, but the most uncomfortable buildings, and I've unfortunately sat in that kind of a building for a lot of years initially, and I know how uncomfortable they were. The amount of heat ingress and the requirements for cooling are significantly higher. So definitely there's an overall impact in operations as well. Another point that you raised is climate risk assessment during design phase. I think that's also another critical point, because if we start at the planning and design stage, that's where we can kind of have a larger impact. We can safeguard our buildings and assets from different climate-related events. With that, Mr. Lalit, I would like to ask you, what are some of the design strategies or initiatives that you are to enhance resiliency and to build a sustainable environment?
Thank you very much. First of all, Realty and Harit, Bharat organizer for inviting me as a speaker. Before I came to your question, and I just wanted to tell about the Kalpatru Group. Kalpatru has been, legacy, working in a green building in 2009, from 2009. We have constructed a first building in Asia, which is a platinum building, and 6 in world. So, and we have so far constructed a 39 green building, platinum buildings. So it's our legacy, I would say. As far as the design aspects, we have to adopt quickly the IT tools, BEAM, IoT, and AI technology in a designing aspects. And we have to see the product life cycle also. From, as Madam rightly mentioned, that embodied carbon footprint for the material. Because you see the cement we are buying, for the construction of building, it has a more than 6% emission globally. Then still we have a 7 to 8%. Glass is another unfortunate part, I would say. We have been nowadays we are using a toughnell glass, which is another challenge for us because we can't recycle it. So we have to go for an entire product life cycle. And Kalpatru has taken a lot of initiative. I just wanted to tell you, we have just completed climate risk assessment as per the GRE guideline. This is the first EPC company. And there was a surprising fact we came to know, even Mumbai, we are constructing so many buildings. Because the pressure for urbanization, sometimes we go for a low-lying area, we are constructing building. And you can see that nowadays, every last 9 years, what is happening. So we have to adopt the IT tools. We go for a product life cycle, and we have to go for a embodied carbon, less carbon product like cement. Nowadays is available green cement, where fly ash is being used. Then green steel is also available, but not availability is. Adequate quantity is not available. So it's a pressure for us. Most important thing which I just wanted to highlight is, because most of the EPCs company are running are very tight margin. Who is going to take this additional cost? Because incentives are not there. As the gentleman mentioned that consumers, I don't think so consumers are so conscious to pay premium for the green building. They want, but they are not least bothered about it. They want to see the cost. So is a pressure from all the corners. And there is a lack of collaborative efforts. There are so many people are working, FICCI, CII, many other NGOs also. But there is no common platform for knowledge sharing where we can work together and drive the sustainability initiatives. So that's the problem.
Yes, you're right. There is no common platform where you can access what is available in the market. A lot of times we also get requests that we want to go with sustainable materials, but we don't know how to go about it. We don't know where it sits. We're not even sure whether it will be available in the quantities that we are expecting. What is going to be the strength?
But climate risk is very, very important. I would suggest everybody has to do. Very important for designing the buildings. Because you can avoid many, we can go for energy efficient design, HVAC, proper maintenance, which people are not doing for renewable energy resources. So that kind of climate risk assessment, if we do properly, then we can get all the feelings like.
Right, absolutely. Now I would like to ask Mr. George, who's from GBCI, how is GBCI, through its rating systems and tools, guiding the shift towards a low carbon future and sustainable materials future in India?
Thanks, Deepali. Thanks for your question. And thanks to the Realty Plus team for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be with the co-panelists here as well. Coming to your question. For 30 plus years, the Council, the US Green Building Council and GBCI, we've had a rating system called LEED certification, which has a parameter of materials section as well. And in the materials section, the intent has always been to reduce the embodied carbon. So it is the the architects, the engineers, the consultants who are there in the projects. They have a whole lot of independence to choose among which materials to take in their project. Because as a rating system, we are not prescriptive. We always have a scorecard and guidelines in place. But the client, that is the architects and the engineers, choose among which products to take forward in their projects. Further, what we also suggest to the project team is to also look at the equipments in that perspective as well, because there's a to and fro when it comes to, let's say, if you choose a particular glass, you will also have to choose a particular mechanical system to go in tandem with that particular glass. So in that way, the architects and the engineers choose the particular materials and the products also. And as a rating system, we always have been suggesting the project teams to look at EPD certified products and materials as well. So what happens is that when they go into select products based on the EPD, the manufacturers are then looking at ways and means to have their products certified with the EPD. That flows down to your raw materials sourcing. So the entire life cycle of the entire supply chain is basically affected, and that gives rise to us taking care of reducing the embodied carbon. So that is what, as a rating system, we have been continuously doing. Now, it's not just the onus of the design and the designer of the project. We have to go one step beyond, and many of the projects are also doing that, is that the designer designs the building and gives it to the end user. What happens post that? So the operational efficiency and the operational team and the facilities team have to also make sure that in terms of operations, they are taking care of the building's performance. And that being said, that gives rise to us looking at the entire building's life cycle. So it's not just getting your projects in the design and phase certified. Look at how you're performing in your existing, the existing assets, how you're performing. And in fact, a lot of clients of ours use that platform. It's readily available for understanding how your building is performing at the present moment and how you can improve on your building performances by doing a lot of gap analysis on that. So that platform is called ARC. And projects then from the design phase then go into the operations phase, and then they can also look at the net zero aspects. So this is how, as a rating organization, we are supporting our clients. And a lot of projects across India and across the globe are actually moving into this direction to address the need of the hour of embodied carbon as well. Yeah.
But still, we have a FSI system also.
So
we have a platinum rating.
absolutely. So what happens is that with each of the state governments, the councils, may it be the national council or the international council, we keep in close touch with the government agencies, the authorities, and bring about a bylaw which is there for the extra FAR allotment for projects which attempt for a particular rating typology, whether it be gold or platinum, they'll have a particular percentage of FAR. So definitely that is there. That's a advantage which clients have been taking forward by going in for certifications. But the intent is to actually change the entire supply chain, right from the manufacturer to, and that change can only come when the demand from the developer is there, and that's rightfully there right now, with clients demanding those products and the supply chain also changing. It's a slow progress, but definitely we have to work collectively on that front as well.
Absolutely. I think it's very important to bring the entire ecosystem together, not just your own organization, but the entire value chain. We've also discussed a lot about how interventions at the design stage really contribute to mitigating climate change impacts. With that, Aparna, I would like to ask you, if you can throw some light and give examples on what are some of the strategies that you've adopted at the design stage, and also how this whole climate related integration has become critical right from planning and designing rather than just being an add-on service.
Sure. I think you hit the nail on the head. First, educating yourself, being current with what today's needs are. Most of our codes are outdated or not relevant to what's happening. And also there's a lot of new learning and technology happening globally. So connecting all the dots and staying ahead. But the most important strategy is build less, right? So we have incentives right now for redevelopment, right? And as a country, yes, we have a lot of work to be done. But we are seeing perfectly good buildings being torn down when they could have stood for another 20 years, only because there is no incentive for people to keep that in place, right? So we need to figure that out. So even as designers, often, we get a plot where a client has an existing building, but they want to maximize their FSI, and they're like, let's, get rid of this building. And we're like, no, that structure is perfectly good. And we find ways of integrating that into the final scheme and be really innovative. So it's a win-win, or maybe some compromise to the FSI, but overall, it's definitely a win. But coming back to the design process, right? Often clients bring in sustainability consultants late in the design process. And by then, the ship has sailed. You really can't make significant impact. So what we have done as a firm is we have, besides increasing the knowledge level of each and every designer at every stage of design, what we've also done is develop tools in the early design stage that help us to know where our design will land. So we are a very large design firm. We have over 1 billion square feet of work delivered annually, right? So we can really create a big impact. So we are actually measuring the LPD and EUI of every single project in our portfolio, right? And we are measuring ourselves that how are we doing better than ASHRAE 2007 or the CBES, the survey for the EUI. So we are also inputting that database and we are landing, right? Like our projects in 2024 were anywhere from 11%, say for a lab or a data center, which is they're energy hogs, right up to even 77% better than the baseline, right? But then we've developed tools taking all of that data so that the designers can see in massing level at the concept stage, the choice of materials that they are using, the orientation. They're able to analyze the, or capitalize on the wind direction, natural ventilation, daylight analysis, impact of solar radiation, all of that in that early design stage. So you know where you're going to land basis all of this data. So those are some of the interventions that we're doing. We also have a tool called, which looks at the carbon based on your material selection, early design stage. And then of course there are other initiatives, for the embodied carbon. But these things will really help the operational carbon in the long run.
I think that's a very valid point. And we've also witnessed in the past that, involving green consultants right at the planning stage really helps. And a lot of times we've seen that companies go with alternate sustainable materials without increasing their cost. So these are the things which are practically possible. It's just the mindset and approach that has to be in line. And, that's how we can drive change. With that, George, I would also like to ask you, how is GBCI integrating resiliency and climate change impacts in the overall rating system?
Thanks, Deepali. GBCI and USGBC, we made a conscious choice or a decision to have our rating system evolve on a regular basis. So we have taken a 5-year cycle. Coincidentally, this year we released the latest version of LEED, that is the version 5, which is up to use for clients as well. So what is the change which we have brought about in the latest version? So V5 focuses mainly on 3 parameters, or rather the 110 points are revolving around these 3 parameters, which is 1, decarbonization, second is the quality of life, and the third is ecological conservation and restoration. So these 3 parameters are basically addressing all the 110 points are being derived or tagged into these 3 parameters. And definitely it has become, it challenges the projects to look at further improving on their design strategies and operational efficiency. In terms of, let's say, decarbonization, the outlook is to look at operational carbon, embodied carbon, and also on the travel-related carbon. So that is where the decarbonization aspects are. In terms of quality of life, what we are looking at is the resiliency, human health aspect, which is very much essential, and also in terms of the land usage which is happening on that. And in terms of ecology and restoration, we look at how, in terms of resilience, how in terms of the green spaces are being utilized. So all these aspects are being covered in the latest version of LEED. So this is a decision of the council to always make sure that they keep up, we keep upgrading the rating system. And that, in fact, a lot of our key clients, in fact, last year we had the beta stage running, wherein 50+ projects from across the globe participated in this version 5, wherein our technical teams, alongside with theirs, we explored how we can attain more points or rather achieve those points in this rating, in this newer version. And clients from across the globe have shown interest to actually, pull up their socks and, in fact, go ahead to, attain a rather stringent rating system like the latest version. So with that in mind, the council is always trying to keep, upgrading the rating system, and also to make sure that we help our clients to achieve their net zero targets with respect to their commitments. So that's how we, as an organization, have been working alongside with our clients.
Sure. Thanks for those inputs. While we do talk about all of these initiatives with certain credits attached, and of course this gives some incentive to organizations, they get some certification, which is of course an added advantage, but there are a lot of ground level challenges and barriers to adopt these initiatives as well. With that, I would like to ask both Mr. Prashant and Mr. Lalit, maybe you could start. What are the ground level challenges that are there to, integrate such initiatives in our built environment?
Yeah, I think I told you in the beginning only that there are going to be challenges where these compromises are to be made with reference to maybe maintaining the aesthetic part of it, or as he said, he highlighted on the cost affordability of the customers also. Yes, these two things are definitely there. But then I think our primary intent should be to design something which suits the various codes. We kind of reduce the carbon emission. Whatever it is, whichever way we can do it, that is our lookout. I think I could cite out a few examples from the cost perspective also. After COVID, we were kind of designing for what is known as a disease investigation center, first of its kind in India, where we did not want the building to touch the ground. So that was the main condition given to me, that the contamination is happening from below the ground. So we really had to think a lot as to how to get this up. And when we tried various different methodology, and it is up there now in Pune with 12 BS2 class labs. Okay, with all kinds of, without RCC, without brickwork. So maybe, so those kind of things need to be done at the design itself. There are a lot of challenges that come in, and we had to isolate whatever the columns that came to the slab level by treating them from the medical perspective, so that there is no penetration from that area. And they're all there now, right now. So that is one. Second thing, I think I was just talking to you about another project where we had a big slope of 11 meters, and then they wanted a one plane. And today we have a lot of equipment like JCB. People are crazy. They break the contour shape and they fill it up and then again dig it up for the foundations, which is a crazy game to do. So we want to retain the earth slope and try and design buildings to suit those kind of slopes. Now, in one of this project, which was Finland company, and they were insisting that the entire thing has to be at one plane. That means we had to do a filling of about 11 meters. Now, if I am doing from 0 to 11, then we require a retaining wall all around, and this plot was something like 5 acres. So it was going in crores, the cost of the retaining wall. And retaining wall is a rigid member. So I was discussing with the same Finnish guys, and we came out with a solution of a Gabion wall. A Gabion wall is a flexible member. It is more earthen. It allows the forces to move out. Okay. It allows the water to move out. And we also carried out tests by taking cores every now and then during the course. Okay, so it has also gone for certification, one of the best examples. So we try to reduce nothing less than 2.5 crores by using the technology and by still retaining all the things intact. Maybe, unfortunately, I had to fill it up to get that level, and we did not go for a slab. We still went for that, and then, today we have so many years after that, no cracks in the flooring at all. So, I mean, we are doing these kind of things which you also told, that when the topic comes in, I think we need to find out various options which could be cost effective so that the customers are happy at the end of the day. Why not? I mean, I was reading about the atriums and the courts, the courtyard, which was Indian traditional style, and we have gone out of the courtyard style. So why the courtyard was there? It was from the green perspective itself, so that the light is there, the air is there, and everything is there. And when we talk about atriums, client feel that it is just a fantastic idea. Architect wants to bring in, but the atrium has a lot of things to contribute. So this need to be penetrated in the right perspective. Then the things will, I think, happen.
Yeah, I just wanted to couple of things which I personally experiencing challenges which you asked. Number one, if you see the globally, more than 2 million alternate material has been discovered, which has a less carbon footprint. Yeah. But this adaptability, mindset is a challenge, number one. Capabilities is not there. Workers who are working at site level, they are more comfortable with the concrete, cement and this one. They are not accepting a new technology or new material. So this is the one thing, capabilities issues, we have to increase we have to train the people. Number two, policy. Like NBC, I'm just giving one example which I faced in my company. I've been pushing hard to go for EV equipments. High level, excavators and JCBs. Unfortunately, even our management approved. There's a significant capital investment, but RTO was not ready to register because there is no government policy. So for last 6 months, we are struggling. So there is a gap in the policy, and there is adaptability of the people. Workers are not ready. And I mentioned that incentives, government policy, they have to give us some kind of incentive. So otherwise, we keep talking in such a conference hall, but the real results will not come out.
Absolutely. I think you've made a very important point related to policy. With that, I would like to ask you, Dr. Sanita, we talk about climate resiliency in conferences, and maybe as an organization independently, I make my buildings climate resilient. But if the entire ecosystem, infrastructure, or at a city level, there are no changes, then it doesn't really help me to sustain in the longer run. With that, I would like to ask you what kind of policy level changes or city level changes would you like to suggest to enhance climate resiliency?
One point I just wanted, I forgot to add here, about the C&D waste. That's the biggest challenge. Government approved 65 plants in India, and we are able to install only 16 to 17 plants. So like in Mumbai and metro cities, many buildings are going for redevelopment. But we don't have an infrastructure where we should dispose our C&D waste and how to utilize it, recycle it. So that's one point I just forgot to mention.
No, so that gives a good segue into what I'm going to. So C&D waste definitely needs to be taken into account, but I want to come back to your point. Why redevelop in the first place? Okay, is there a need? What kind of structural... So again, a policy change on that is required. C&D waste, there is a C&D waste regulation, updated regulation, but implementation of that regulation is going to be very difficult. If C&D waste credits are established, and if it goes in the wrong direction, we are in for a lot of pain. So even the challenge with policy is, it's not about just bringing in a policy, but what would be the governance of the policy? Whose roles, responsibilities, where does the builder run to? Who do I go in the authority who says that, okay, this is where you will have to send it, this is the NOC I'm giving, but this is also the tipping fee, this is the processing plant that you have to send it to. So currently that clarity is not there. So that is one. The other is on the climate resilience in cities. And at a policy level, every city needs to develop a heat action plan and a flood mitigation plan and a climate action plan. Now, if all of these plans sit with different institutes in the local authorities, they are not going to talk to each other. They have to be spoken in togetherness, because the green-blue infrastructure is what will give resilience to a city, right? It will also mitigate the heat. It will also mitigate urban flooding. Okay. It will have an impact of planning permissions, and there is a need to actually bring in monitoring, IT-based digital platforms for monitoring where permissions are being given. So are you building over a water body? Are you building, cutting down trees of a particularly nice development and redeveloping it? What happens to the heritage trees in those developments? Who is taking count of all of that? So policy level to actually say, okay, these are the things we will tolerate, these are the things we will not tolerate. Currently, building planning permission is happening differently. The heat action plan is happening differently. The climate action plan is happening differently. And if you take BMC as a body, the BMC main body has a lot of authority. But the climate action plan, they don't have, they are toothless. Sorry, I'm calling it out sitting in Mumbai. They are toothless. So if BMC works with the climate action plan cell, Mumbai has a carbon strategy. Okay, it has disclosed in climate disclosure project. But what about the vulnerability? What about Pune's climate action plan? Okay, so policy, governance of that policy, roles, responsibilities, accountability at the last mile, and what does it mean in terms of building planning permissions? What does it mean in terms of RERA? There is no clarity. So that drill down is important. So if a policy is a good policy only if it goes down to that level. If currently there is no clarity here, sometimes we don't even have a policy. For example, if you go to Assam, and Assam is facing a lot of construction, but it doesn't have a urban planning policy that, this is what we'll tolerate, this is what we'll not tolerate. Or for example, what happened in Uttarakhand? Should we do all of these developments in Uttarakhand? So it's a case of missing policies, definitely. But if there is a policy in place, what is the next level? We don't have the wherewithal. Government doesn't have money. So should we set up decarbonization cells in every state? Should we set up climate resilience cell? Should we work with disaster management people? कि हाँ हम नहीं करने वाले climate resilience, इसलिए हमको disaster management के का एक cell बनाना चाहिए कि कितने कम लोग मरे या जिए हमको क्या? So all of these have to be thought through. No, I'm a straight shooter actually. So
Yes, I think it definitely makes sense. Policy should be there, it should be implemented effectively, and definitely there should be a strong governance to ensure that everything is rightly done. With that, thank you so much, everyone. We can now open for questions, and because our time is up. So, questions, anyone?
Yeah, I'm Paddy from CRESP. My question is to George. So USGBC and GBCI have always been, leveling up their game in terms of the rating systems over the years, and there's a lot being done on the materials side. So with V5 also coming in, and at this juncture we see grade A developers are already evolved to an extent. So is their supply chain. But when it comes to the other developers, the medium and smaller size, and also the MSMEs who typically want to do LEED and who are interested in looking at global frameworks like LEED certification for their developments. So is there conscious effort from the USGBC, GBCI to also work with manufacturers in terms of helping them achieve good EPDs or identify their EPDs and kind of have a network of theirs in place so that the other developers or the other clients who have not attempted the LEED version 5 or the 4.1 can also kind of join the bandwagon? Is something happening on that front?
Thanks for the question, Paddy. Coincidentally, we have been discussing with the Apparels Export Organization, which is based out of Gurgaon. Similar kind of, they have several members across India who are providing clothing brands to they're exporting their brands basically. So we have been compelling or rather suggesting them to look at their operational level strategies with respect to their apparel factories. So we are having capacity building sessions happening along with these members, and that definitely will translate and transcend to their buildings or factories being much more operationally efficient. Similar way, we are having organizational discussions happening with other councils. We have our tie-ups with ISHRE, we have our tie-ups with CREDAI. So all the different sectors as well, we are trying to see how we can work together to make sure that, in terms of not just the design perspective, but in terms of operational efficiency, we are able to meet the requirements, the future requirements of getting into net zero. So that definitely a lot of work is done on that perspective from the council here. Thanks.
Then any more questions that will be only catered in the networking zone. Anybody wants to ask something? I believe not. So on that note, we come to an end of the Q&A part. And ladies and gentlemen, can I please request all of you to give a big round of applause for all our esteemed speakers over here. Thank you so much for joining us. It's truly an honor and privilege to have all of you. I'll request all of you to please wait. And in the meantime, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be calling up on stage Architect Mahesh Bangar, Chairman, Architects, Engineers and Surveyors Associations, Pune, to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers over here. Can I have a big round of applause for Mr. Mahesh as well, please? Thank you so much. Can we have the token of appreciation on stage? Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll do a nice group photo with all of you over here at the front, please. Sir, you also join, please, over there. And yes, in order to appreciate all the knowledge and insights that they shared from there, and can I please request all of you to clap a little bit for all our speakers over here? That's the least that we can do to appreciate their presence and honor. So thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing all of you the next time, next year as well. Bahut shukriya for being with us over here. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And on that note, I would now like to call it a break for lunch. We will be breaking for lunch for the next 25 minutes, and post that we will be resuming with the second half. Thank you so much. See you all post lunch.